Hey guys, it is Friday, October 5th, 2024, and I'm back with some free VST plugins to help you with your musical adventures and endeavors. All right, guys, we are close to wrapping up the month of October with some free saturation and free creative effects. That's the theme for October 2024. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do next week because I have a pretty busy week. So I might be wrapping up the month on Tuesday. Maybe I'll do Tuesday, Wednesday. But I'll try to see if I can do 2 next week. But that's usually the norm. 2 live streams a week. Let's jump right into it, guys. The free VST plugins for today are as follows. So starting off with our saturation plugins, number 1, we have Fuzz Plus 3 from Audio Damage. Now this company discontinued this plugin. There's a whole list of discontinued plugins, and this is one of them. That's why it's free. So until they remove it from the site, it is available there. It's been about 2 years or more since they discontinued this one, and they still host it on the site. So hopefully they keep it there forever. But this one is fairly straightforward. It's saturating, but it's also adding some vintage style distortion. And with the controls here, we have a low pass roll off here. And then we have resonance for that. So you can actually create a resonance peak, which is very interesting. You don't usually see that. Usually you're just rolling off the low end or the high end or both. You give those options and that's it. But this one actually allows you to create a resonance peak. So that's a little bit different. You got your distortion knob here to dial in how much distortion you want. And then the next unique thing about this one is the feedback knob. So what they're saying is they're feeding back the output right back into the input, which is going to most likely strengthen the signal and make the effect even more pronounced. So depending on how you dial it in, be careful, because this one can be very aggressive. Sometimes you're going for that, but sometimes you want it to be more subtle. So make sure you pay attention to that. And if there's a manual, just make sure you read the manual, understand the schematics of the signal flow and what the knobs are actually doing, so you can dial in your sound more effectively and more intelligently. And then there's a level here, so you can basically gain match your level if it's getting too loud or if you want more volume. So next up we have temper, which is very, very similar to this one right here, Fuzz Plus 3, because it kind of has similar features. So along with that cutoff, it also has resonance. So you can increase the resonance peak of that cutoff filter, which is interesting that they both do that. So we have a curve knob, a drive knob, and a saturation knob. So you can add saturation and you can add some drive. This one also is very bright and can get really aggressive. And it also has a feedback knob, which once again feeds the outback right into the input. The output right back into the input, I should say. And then there is a level knob for you to gain match and adjust your level after all the processing is done. So that is temper from Creative Intent. Next up here we have M Saturator, which is one of my favorite. This is from Melda Production, one of my favorites. So this one, it's pretty advanced. There's a lot of features here. So right off the bat, we have input, output, we have white, wet, dry. With all the Melda Production, their wrapper, their interface always has a section over here where you can set up A, B, but they'll have, I think it's like A through H, which gives you 8 options for you to set up 8 different set of settings if you choose, and then you can A, B, C, D, just audition the different settings that you set up to see which one you love the best and which one works best with what you're doing. There's a lot of presets, and over here with the controls, we have threshold, we have the analog level, and then we have the mode. So with the mode, this one can go from saturation to distortion to actual clipping. So that's one thing I like about this one. It's very versatile. So I use it a lot on my 808, sometimes on my kicks. Sometimes I'm saturating the 808 or clipping. Same thing with the kick. Sometimes I'm saturating, sometimes I'm clipping. And it goes kind of like into wave shaping distortion because of this envelope over here, because the envelope shape changes, and that's gonna dictate how the saturation is going to be affecting your signal. You can actually draw in your own custom shapes over here also, which once again makes it very, very unique and very customizable based on what you want to do. So sound designing, really getting crazy with your distortion and your saturation is available in this plugin just because of the amount of controls and options that they give you. So now in this section here, you can enable harmonics and start to dial in second order, fourth order, third order, and fifth order harmonics, which once again, very interesting. For this whole section with tube saturation, it's usually the even order harmonics. And then with tape, which is going to give you a more brighter, sometimes harsher sound, is with the odd order harmonics. So it's cool that they gave you those options here so you can further shape and craft the tone that you're trying to get out of your saturation slash distortion slash clipping. And down at the bottom here, they have a compander, which is a compressor slash expander feature down here, which once again just gives you more control and options over how you're saturating, distorting, and or clipping your sound. So very, very full featured plugin here for saturation. M Saturator from Melda Productions. So next up for the creative effects, we have Flux Mini 2. So this one is basically a filter, an envelope for the filter, like an ADSR type envelope for the filter set to a sequencer. So you can basically get some rhythmic filtering going. You can change the signature speed, cycles. So if you do quarter notes, how many quarter notes to a bar, all that good stuff, you can set that up. So that'll basically dictate how fast it's happening, how often that cycle is happening. The cycle of what? The envelope, which is giving you volume and time of the filter. And then you can control how much of the resonance. You can increase the amp of what's happening, how your sound is being affected. You can increase the amplitude of that here. And then you can dictate where your cutoff frequency is for your resonance for the filter. The sync area is where you would set up your speed, quarter note, half note, eighth note, triplet, things of that nature. And then there is a mix knob. So you can set up a parallel situation here with the signal. So you're getting a mix of the dry and the wet signal. You can also flip the direction of this envelope here with these buttons. Of course, there's a decent amount of presets to kind of get you up and running. and for you to understand what's possible and the capabilities of this filter plugin. So definitely check out Flux Mini 2 from Calum Audio. Next up for creative effects, we have HY Filter 3, which is kind of similar to the last one, but it takes it to a whole nother level with how crazy you can get with the envelope right here. They give you an EQ for you to dial in even more tone and to the sound of the filtered sound. And then there are a ton of modulators for you to modulate the different parameters and get a lot more movement and variation from your sound. So you can really get in depth with this one. The interface is resizable on this one. I don't remember. Yes, it is resizable on Flux Mini 2 also. But one gripe I have with this one right here, HY Filter 3, is I feel like the presets are very limited. They don't have that many presets. I think it's like maybe 6 or 7 presets. I feel like for something this complex with all these parameters and options, I feel like there should be more presets in like subcategories and subcategories to help showcase the possibility and the flexibility of this plugin. But otherwise, it's an amazing plugin with a lot of options. Just has a lot to offer. So that's HY Filter 3 from HY Plugins. The developer is HY Plugins. Next up for free instruments today, we have Exact Light 2. This one is fairly new. The version 2 is fairly new. It's been around for a little bit. I want to say 2.5, maybe 3 years, maybe longer. But this one, this newer version, they've improved a lot under the hood. It was already fairly up to date when they did the version 1 because of when it came out. So like the interface is pretty much the way it was now. I'm sure there's a little bit of tweaks and updates to the look, but they give you a lot more functionality with the version 2, even though it is a light version. If I'm not mistaken, the first one didn't come with that many presets. With this version, version 2, there are over 60 presets organized in categories. I don't think it was like that on the first one. So that's promising. I installed it on my main PC behind me, but I haven't checked it out yet. But I am intrigued to see what's going on with these presets. Otherwise, it's pretty much a straightforward synth. All the basic things you would need in a basic synth is there. And yeah, I think they might have some effects, but envelopes, LFOs, all that other stuff. It has 8 FM algorithms with feedback on operator D. So it looks like they have 4 operators, operator A, B, C, D. So if you understand FM synthesis, you'll understand what all that means. I'm not going into that now. But definitely a good synth to check out. Very compact, sensible interface that's not going to overwhelm you. If you're looking to learn FM synthesis, this would be a good one to check out. Search some videos on YouTube, and they will teach you how to do it and just help you understand FM synthesis. It's very interesting and very functionable. So that is Exact Light 2 from Sonic Bits. Last up today for the instruments, we have Dirty E-Piano from Sample Science. So Sample Science, you know, their interface for their instruments is always pretty much very recognizable once you see it. And this one is fairly new. I want to say this week sometime it was released. And basically it's an electric piano, kind of like a Rhodes. It's very bright, very belly tone to it. The one thing I would say they should have on this is a lot more control over the actual tone, like to kind of dial in just how the strokes sound, like the bell, how belly it is. So if you could kind of play with that a little bit, that'd be cool. Rather than just throwing an EQ on it and then rolling off some of the highs. If you want to damp it down, they should have gave you a little bit more controls as far as that is concerned. Otherwise, up here we have ADSR. We have a preamp sound designer here, very basic. Just dial in the preamp, and then there's an amp range. There is a modulation. That's going to be doing that. What is it? What is that thing called? Because I don't want to say panning, because it wasn't panning when I did it, but kind of like that. What is that stupid thing called? It's not panning, but basically when the E pianos wobble, I think they're doing it more on a frequency. Sometimes it's done with volume. Sometimes it's done with panning. I don't know why I'm not remembering the term as I'm trying to remember the term. But I think this one is doing it based on frequency, because it didn't feel like it was going back and forth. And I still can't remember the term. It'll come to me after the stream is over. But there is a filter cutoff here. I want to say it is a low pass filter. Let's see what it says down here. There are 4 effects: distortion, delay, chorus, and reverb. Glide. So there's a low pass and high pass filter. I don't see that. I just see one filter here. And maybe you can change the mode. Maybe a right click on the button changes the mode. But here it says high pass / low pass. So I'm sure there's a way to switch the mode between if it's doing high pass or low pass. 3 voice modes. There's a poly mode, a mono mode, and a legato mode, which for me was kind of pointless when I was checking out so poly mode is, polyphonic, so you can hold your chords. Monophonic, can't hold any chords, one note at a time. And then legato was kind of doing the same thing as monophonic. It still did the glide. I really didn't understand what the difference was between mono and legato when I was testing it out, because they both just allow one note at a time. So you can do a lot of lead soloing type stuff, but no chords. So I don't understand the difference between mono and legato. Maybe somebody could explain it to me. Leave a comment or something. I don't care. But yes, so that is Dirty E Piano. As I still can't remember what that term is called. But tremolo, there we go. Got it. Tremolo. So for the tremolo, that's what the modulation affects. It does tremolo. I'm wondering if you can change the mode. I really didn't see that with poking around, where you can change the modulation mode, where it's modulating frequency or volume or panning. That'd be cool. I've seen that before on some of these VSTs, where you can switch the type of tremolo that you're getting. But if you want a specific type of tremolo, there are free tremolo effects that you can put after this. That'll give you all those options. I'll probably bring that up in my next video and refer back to this video and this plugin. But one thing I noticed also was with this one up here, they have left and right delay independent. So with the delay effect, you can set independent delay times from the left and the right. They can have 2 different delay time signatures, whether you lock it into the beat, the tempo of your session, or you can do it by milliseconds, but you can do them independently from the left and the right, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting, and gives this plugin some brownie points. So I think that was pretty much it. There's a velocity curve section here, so you can change your velocity curve and how that reacts, which is cool too for people who are really like playing their chords and performance in on a keyboard and they really want to play with the velocity curve for a specific type of response and action that they want from the plugin. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. So I see a little selection over here that says low pass. So I'm assuming this is what dictates what mode the filter is in. So it's right here under filter, low pass. So you can switch it from low pass or high pass right here. One or the other, not both at the same time, I'm assuming. So that's pretty much it. There was no presets for this. It's just the main preset that it comes with when you open it. For the first time when you install it, it's going to ask you to select the folder where the default sound is, the default preset, and then it will be the only preset there. You can tweak, do what you got to do to kind of craft your own sounds. Play with the effects, play with your distortion, delay, chorus, play with the reverb, and kind of come up with your own vibe. I know in my DAW, I can save the preset in different ways. I have multiple ways to save the preset, but the plugin itself does not allow you to save any presets. It just starts off at the default preset and that's it. So that's it for the video, guys. The link is in the description. It'll take you to that blog page we were just on, where you can check out the information there and click on the corresponding download links. There's also a link in the description for a video series I did called PC Specs and how it relates to music production. So if you're looking to understand how your DAW works along with your computer and its internal parts to help you produce music, mix, master music, track MIDI, track audio smoothly, sample, do what you got to do creatively without having any issues, distracting issues while you're trying to get work done. That series will help you understand how important the different components are in your computer, what really affects what. So what does the CPU affect and what does the RAM affect? Hard drive and storage. Why is that important? GPU, why is that important now and becoming even more important? So definitely check out that video series. It'll give you an understanding. So if you're looking to make a purchase for a new rig or you're upgrading, you're trying to fix an issue, you might be able to upgrade a specific part right now and save some money, or just for you to understand what you need for your next purchase, where you need to focus on what you need to be more powerful. Do I need more RAM, or is it more important to have a high core count versus a high clock count per core? So it'll help you understand some of those technical details to help you make a more informed decision. There's also a link in the description for a growing playlist for these videos that I do twice a week. So if you're looking for more free VST plugins, 100% free, all the time free plugins, definitely check out those videos. There's over 330 videos up there. This video will be added to that growing playlist as soon as the live stream is done. So always more free plugins. Check out those videos. All right, guys, check back next week as we will be wrapping up the month of October 2024, themed with free saturation plugins and creative effects. We got a new theme coming for November. I'm working on that one. So that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, you'll see me in the next video.